Speaker McCall, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I move that all members of the House be made co-authors.
That is a proper motion. Without objection, that'll be the order. Mr. Speaker.
Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, it is my honor today to recognize and call to the podium Mr. Bob Stoops and President Joe Harris from the University of Oklahoma. Mr. Speaker, would you recognize Coach Stoops for a few words?
Coach Stoops, you are recognized. Greet the crowd. You're recognized.
Set to go?
You bet.
Okay.
Hot mic.
Truth be told, and I just said this a little while ago at our breakfast, but you talk about an absolute fish out of water. I'd so rather be in the middle of the Cotton Bowl fighting Texas for 4 hours than to be here being recognized by myself. I'll be the first to tell you I did nothing alone. My team, my players are the absolute best players. Any team around you, they make you. My players made me. I was lucky enough this past weekend to have over 200 of them back for the spring game and saw so many of them, and always thank them for their commitment and work in our program. And again, they ultimately make you as a head coach, as well as your assistant coaches, support staff. Everybody has a hand in it. Our administration, you don't do it alone. So it's always very uneasy for me to be recognized individually. But I want to thank Speaker McCall and all of you for recognizing me this way. It starts with our president Joe Harris. We have great leadership at OU. I've been working with Joe since 1998. He and I wrestled over my first contract. He was always and then the next year we'd wrestle over it again. And then we went 13-0, and then he said, "What do you want to make next year?" But truly, I've loved working with Joe for 20-some years. We're in great hands at OU with his direction and leadership and his support team around him. And again, I recognize his being up here as much as he is. All of you House and Senate members, nothing happens at the university without your support, your legislation, and your vision. So we appreciate it. I know our administration appreciates it. And please keep sending it our way in positive ways, if you would. Talking about, this past year and getting called off the golf course to come back and lead that Sunday was really fairly easy. And I think I've been given way too much credit for it. I wasn't golfing all that well that day, so it was easy to leave the course. And truly, I didn't have to travel back from Florida to do it. I'm right down the road. And let's face it, even in your positions as well, you leave something for 4 or 5 years, you don't forget how to do it when you've done it your whole life. And it made it easy that I was able to reach the players and they accepted me. But I remember that day, my primary mission, my first mission was to remind everybody, players, community, everybody at the university, Lincoln Riley didn't invent OU football. Okay? And everyone needed a little wake-up call because they kind of slipped into thinking he did. And I sure as heck didn't either. All right, it goes back, all the way to Bud, and you could even say Benny Owen. But I think in the modern era of football, Bud Wilkinson created the monster that Coach Switzer always, referred to. And I had to deal with it for 18 years, and it's a monster. But I loved it. So I'm the fortunate one to have been able to be at Oklahoma for all these years, 18 as the head coach and fortunately, they've kept me on here for a while that I could step in moments like that. Hopefully we don't have any more. But anyway, I've been the lucky one to have been here all this time. I love Oklahoma, the state of Oklahoma. The university, of course, is dear to me. And I am so excited about what our future looks like. Brent Venables was absolutely the right guy. The guy has got a track record of success. Back to Kansas State, I recruited him to come to Kansas State when we were terrible when we got there. When he left to come here to OU, very successful. Everyone knows what Coach Snyder's done. So Brent's been on the ground floor for that and helped build that program. He helped us here. People forget when we arrived in '98, we hadn't had a winning record in 6 years here at Oklahoma. 2 years later, we were undefeated. Brent was a major part of that. Was with us 13 years and then went 10 years to Clemson, where they've had as big a resurgence, or not resurgence, they've come from nowhere to be one of the premier teams in the country. And he's been there to see that. He's got all the experience in the world. I don't need to tell you about his passion and energy. It oozes all over the place and infects everybody. So I promise you, we are in great, great hands, and I look forward to the future in a really positive way. But this is long for me, Joe. You know that. But I truly do thank you for the recognition. It means a great deal to me, and love the state of Oklahoma. Boomer.
Sooner.